Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into something that, well, it pretty much underpins almost every digital thing you do, the digital identity verification market. You know, ever stop and think how your bank really knows it's you logging in, or why signing up for some new online thing feels, I don't know, smoother but also more secure these days?
Mhm.
That's this market, working away quietly. And today we're going to unpack its just explosive growth and its vital role, really, in keeping things secure and compliant online.
Yeah.
Let's talk numbers for a second because they're pretty staggering.
Mhm.
So this market, it was already worth nearly, what, $8 billion globally back in 2021?
Around that, yeah, $7.87 billion.
Right. And it's heading towards over $13 billion by 2025.
$13.27 billion to be precise.
And then get this, it's projected to leap again to more than $37 billion by 2033.
yeah, $37.7 billion. It's quite the trajectory.
That's more than quadrupling in just over 10 years with a steady growth rate. That CAGR of almost 14% year on year.
And what's really fueling this, this incredible acceleration, it's a mix of things, really. First, just the sheer number of digital transactions. Everything you buy online, every transfer you make, it's all scaling up.
Right. Nonstop.
Then you've got regulations. They're getting tighter, demanding stricter checks.
Compliance is key.
Exactly. And finally, this massive shift to remote onboarding. Think about starting a new job or opening a bank account, maybe, entirely from home.
Happens a lot recently.
It did. And these aren't just small trends, they're big shifts. They fundamentally require reliable ways to check who someone is online. It's about protecting your data, your interactions, every single day.
Those global numbers really paint a picture. But okay, where's this growth actually concentrated regionally? North America, it seems, is still out front, projected to grow from just over $3 billion in 2021
$3.1 billion.
to more than $14 billion by 2033. That's huge.
It is.
And the U.S. is driving a lot of that, right?
Great.
Over $11 billion of that total, taking the lion's share. Though Canada and Mexico are seeing big jumps too, heading towards $1.7 billion and over $1 billion respectively by 2033. Okay, and what about Europe? Europe's also a major player, forecasted to hit nearly $8 billion by 2033. Countries like Germany, the UK, France, they're all showing strong growth too. KGR is over 13%.
Yeah, and looking at Europe, those strong numbers really highlight, I think, a strategic focus there on digital compliance, on identity assurance across the continent.
With a core value.
Sort of, yeah. It's about building these secure, regulated digital spaces for everyone, citizens, businesses, you name it.
Makes sense. Okay, so North America and Europe are big, but you mentioned explosive growth. That seems to be happening in the Asia-Pacific region, projected to climb over $10 billion by 2033.
Absolutely booming there. China, India, Southeast Asia, they're really powering that, some of the fastest growing economies globally.
And India specifically, the numbers look quite something.
India's growth is remarkable, a CAGR of almost 16%. Expected to reach over $1.4 billion by 2033. Stellar is a good word for it.
Wow, okay. And just quickly, other regions, we're seeing big growth elsewhere too, right? South America heading towards $2.4 billion, the Middle East approaching $2 billion, and Africa, its market is set to nearly quintuple, from around $228 million in 2021 to over $1.1 billion by 2033.
Right. And Africa's growth, I think, is particularly telling. It really underscores how vital digital identity has become, well, everywhere. It shows this whole transformation is truly global, reaching into rapidly emerging regions, too. Digital trust, it seems, is a universal need now, not just for developed markets.
So wrapping this up then, it's crystal clear. The digital identity verification market isn't just growing, it's accelerating profoundly. And it's really reshaping our digital world. Foundational stuff for the future.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating, I think, is how these numbers point towards a future where, trust in our digital lives is absolutely paramount, which leads to an interesting question for you listening. How will your digital identity change and evolve as this market continues this incredible surge? Something to think about.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise on the really crucial stuff. And today we're diving into something that affects pretty much everyone online. Digital identity verification. Our goal, to really get a handle on what's actually changing right now in how our digital selves are being secured.
And it's definitely the right time to talk about it. The why now is pretty stark, actually. We're seeing identity fraud just explode globally. I mean, just in the U.S., consumer losses are projected to hit something like $12.5 billion this year, 2024.
Wow, $12.5 billion.
Right.
Yeah, that's staggering. It really highlights the urgency, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
So, okay, what's driving the market to respond? What are the big forces pushing this forward? Well, the first one seems obvious, circling right back to what you just said, that terrifying jump in cybercrime and fraud.
Exactly. That huge loss figure basically forces companies' hands, right? They have to bring in better tech like biometrics and real-time checks just to protect people and, frankly, maintain trust.
And it's not just the criminals pushing this. There are huge regulatory pressures, too. Governments, entire industries, they're all tightening up compliance. You hear about KYC, know your customer, AML for anti-money laundering.
Right. And the privacy rules, too, like GDPR in Europe, CCPA in California.
And India's new DPDP Act as well.
Hmm.
It means verified digital ID isn't just nice to have anymore. It's becoming essential for things like opening an account online or sending money across borders.
Absolutely non-negotiable in many cases.
And the third driver, I think, is just the sheer explosion of mobile everything. E-commerce, banking apps, fintech,
Oh, definitely. Everything's on our phones.
which means security needs to be seamless and strong on those devices. So we're seeing, rapid uptake of smartphone biometrics, Face ID, fingerprint scans. The numbers are pretty telling. Almost 45% of verifications are happening on smartphones now. And that's growing fast, like 22% year over year.
It's a fundamental shift. But while these drivers are powerful, it's not exactly a simple path forward. There are some pretty significant hurdles.
Okay, like what?
Well, first off, the cost. Implementing these advanced systems, AI, sophisticated biometrics, multi-factor authentication, it's expensive. And that's a real barrier, especially if you're a small or medium-sized business without huge IT budgets.
Yeah, I can see that. What else?
Then there's data privacy. People are quite rightly getting more concerned about how their personal info, especially biometric data like a face scan, is being collected and used. And trying to navigate all those different regulations, we mentioned GDPR, CCPA, DPDP, they don't always line up perfectly. It adds a lot of complexity for businesses operating internationally.
That makes sense. Different rules everywhere.
And one more big one, interoperability, or rather the lack of it. A lot of current systems don't play nicely together. They don't work across different platforms easily, or integrating with other vendors is a headache. This can lead to vendor lock-in, where you're stuck with one provider, and it really limits how easily you can scale or adapt.
Right, so you've got cost, privacy, complexity, and systems not talking to each other. Big challenges. But despite those hurdles, there must be some exciting innovations happening. What's changing the game?
Oh, definitely. Innovation is moving fast.
So first up, AI and machine learning seem huge here.
Yeah.
How are they being used?
Well, it's moving beyond just catching fraud after the fact. AI allows for much better real-time prevention. Think sophisticated liveness checks, making sure it's a real person, not a photo, and even detecting deepfakes trying to fool the system, often stopping fraud before it even happens.
That's crucial. And I've heard about behavioral biometrics too. What's that about?
Yeah, that's fascinating. It adds another security layer by looking at how you interact with your device, things like your typing speed, the way you move your mouse, even the angle you usually hold your phone at. It's like a unique digital signature based on your actions.
So it's not just what you are, like your face, but how you do things.
Exactly. It makes it incredibly hard for someone else to mimic you convincingly.
Okay, and the third big one you hear buzz about is self-sovereign identity, or SSI. Can you break that down simply?
Right, SSI. It's a really different approach, often using blockchain technology. The core idea is putting you in control of your digital identity. Imagine a secure digital wallet on your phone holding verified credentials, like a digital driver's license or maybe work qualifications. You decide who gets to see which piece of information and when. You're not relying on some big company database to hold it all.
So more privacy, more control for the user.
Precisely. Better privacy, potentially much better security because there's no single giant target to hack, and it could even be more cost-effective in the long run by reducing reliance on centralized systems.
Interesting. Lots happening there.
So yeah, summing it up, the digital identity verification space is incredibly active. It's driven by this urgent need to fight fraud. It's being constantly reshaped by these cool innovations, and it's all moving towards creating identity experiences that are, secure, compliant, but also really smooth and easy for us as users.
It really makes you think. As you go about your day online, just consider how much relies on proving you are who you say you are. And then maybe picture what it might actually feel like when technologies like SSI give you, personally, the key to control your own digital identity. Something to ponder.